All right, let's talk about Chainlink. The buzz around this project is absolutely massive right now, and some of the price predictions getting thrown around are, well, they're pretty eye-opening. We're going to dig in and figure out if this is all just hype or if there's something real going on here.
So you see a headline like this, right? And your first thought might be skepticism, and that's fair. But instead of just dismissing it, we're going to do something different. We're going to play detective and actually investigate why people are saying things like this.
You know, to really get to the bottom of these bold predictions, we've got to follow the clues. We're going to look at what the market is doing, what the tech is all about, what's driving the growth, and finally, what the experts are saying when they put it all together. So let's start with a big one.
Okay, our investigation kicks off with what I'm calling the $100 question.
Seriously, could Chainlink's token Link actually hit $100? I mean, that's a huge jump from today. But some analysts are looking at their charts and saying, yeah, it could happen, maybe even by 2029. So what on earth makes them think that's even possible?
Well, first off, just look at the short-term momentum. This isn't some slow and steady thing. Link has been on an absolute tear, jumping over 27% in just a single week. That kind of explosive move definitely gets people talking. And let's be clear, this isn't some tiny, obscure project we're talking about. Chainlink has a market cap of over $15 billion. That puts it squarely in the big leagues of crypto. It's a heavyweight.
Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Let's follow the big money. We've seen whales, those massive investors, pull 2 million Link tokens off of exchanges. That's almost $50 million worth. Now, why does that matter? Because when big players move coins into their own wallets, it means they're not planning to sell. They're stocking up for the long haul.
Okay, so that's the market picture. But for our first real clue, we have to go deeper. To understand why the price could go up, you first have to understand what Chainlink actually does. What is its purpose?
So, at its heart, Chainlink is what's called a decentralized Oracle network. But forget the jargon. The easiest way to think of it is as a secure bridge. See, blockchains are incredibly powerful, but they're kind of trapped in their own little digital world. They can't see what's happening outside. Chainlink is that bridge that lets them safely connect to real-world info, like stock prices, sports scores, or weather data.
And how it works is actually pretty simple. First, a smart contract needs to know something from the outside world. Then, Chainlink's huge network of independent operators, or oracles, all go out and find that piece of information from a bunch of different sources, and they all check each other's work to make sure it's accurate. And finally, Chainlink delivers that one single trustworthy answer back to the smart contract so it can do its job. It's absolutely vital.
All right, on to our second clue. Now that we get what it is, let's look at the hard evidence of its growth. What's actually pouring fuel on this fire right now? There are 3 really big things happening. First, it's becoming the go-to solution for the real-world asset market, which is a massive new trend. Second, it is just expanding like crazy. 14 new integrations across 10 different blockchains recently. And third, and this one is a really big deal, they've launched something called the Chainlink Reserve. Okay, you really have to understand the economics here because it's pretty brilliant. The Chainlink network earns fees for its services, right? Well, the reserve automatically takes that revenue, goes out onto the open market, and buys Link tokens with it. Then it locks those tokens up for years. This creates constant buying pressure and simultaneously shrinks the available supply. It's a powerful 1-2 punch. And hey, this isn't just a theory. It's already happening. Since it launched just a little while ago, the value locked in the reserve has more than doubled, shooting up from $1.1 million to over $2.6 million. That's real, verifiable proof that this system is working.
So for our third clue, let's look at another powerful force at play. It's not just the network itself buying and locking up Link, it's also giving investors like you a really good reason to do the same. And that brings us to staking.
Chainlink recently rolled out a new version of their staking program, and it's huge, a pool of 45 million Link. But look at this chart. The vast majority of that, almost 41 million Link, is set aside specifically for community members to participate, earn rewards, and help secure the network. So if you're interested, you've basically got 2 ways to go. You can stake your Link directly with Chainlink. You get a solid return, plus you're eligible for some exclusive bonus rewards. The only catch is there's a longer waiting period if you want to withdraw. Or you can use other platforms that make it a bit simpler, often with higher yields and way faster withdrawals. And this is where it gets really compelling.
The rewards aren't just in Link tokens. For example, people staking right now became eligible to get a piece of a 100 million token airdrop from a partner project. This is a whole other layer of value on top of the regular staking rewards. It shows the potential earnings can go way beyond just that base interest rate.
Okay, so let's recap our clues. We've got strong market action, we've got fundamental real-world utility, we've got rapid expansion, and we've got powerful economic incentives for both the network and for investors. Now, with all of that context, let's go back and look at those price predictions again. This table lays out the long-term forecast from analysts, and you can see the story it tells. A steady climb, breaking past its old all-time highs around 2027, and then look at 2029. That's when it's projected to cross that crucial $100 line, with some models even putting it closer to $120.
And it's not just about what might happen years from now. In the more immediate future, analyst Ali Martinez is pointing to a key price level around $24. He's suggesting that if Link can break through that barrier with real strength, it could open the floodgates for a major run, maybe all the way up towards that $95 mark.
So, after putting all the clues together, what's the final verdict? Well, it seems pretty clear that these bullish forecasts for Chainlink aren't just wild guesses pulled out of thin air. They're actually grounded in real-world use, incredible adoption across the crypto industry, and a really smart economic model that encourages holding the token. Which leaves us with one last massive question to think about. If the future of, well, everything involves putting real-world assets like stocks, bonds, and real estate onto blockchains, is Chainlink quietly building the single most important piece of plumbing to make that entire vision possible? It's something to consider. Thanks for joining me.